Hello and welcome back. On today's show, we are going on a EV road trip in my 2025 Tesla Model Y. We'll be looking at a few different things in terms of efficiency will be one item, charging another, and whether or not we can complete this trip. We'll try shooting for a round trip version if we can complete it 100% in FSD without any disengagements. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so right now, as you can tell, this is the beginning of our road trip. I have updated here this particular section that will indicate we are about 0.9 miles into our road trip, just now getting into it, and that very loud beep was the early detection system. I don't feel as if though I was getting particularly close, but I do have early detection listed on here under the safety features. So that is what it was about. Whether it's there, whether it's in the autopilot navigation, I can't quite tell. I don't want to dive too into it. Forward collision warning, there it is, early detection, so it gave us advance notice, as it should have. That's working the way it ought to. But as you can tell, we are at a 98% charge. Just traveled, or actually I started off the trip at 272 miles on 100%. Right now we are down to 98%. Didn't quite take off whenever I got into the car. Just had to set up, do a few things that cost me a few bits of percentages there, 2% that it cost. But we are going to get started on FSD, engaging it right now at 1.6 miles. Let's see how many disengagements we do have, or if we are successful in traveling the entire leg of this journey in FSD. You can tell right now I have it in hurry mode, depending on where we're at and the efficiency that we have. I might scale it back to standard or even chill or sloth. I'm kind of hesitant to place this under sloth. Going the speed limit might be okay in certain areas, but wherever I can help it, I'm gonna go ahead and try not to go into sloth mode. I want real world range, real world speeds, right? Meaning that we're gonna go ahead and either keep to the speed limit or try not to exceed the speed limit by a good 10 miles per hour. Hurry should cover both areas. I will try not to go into Mad Max mode. I'm really not in any particular rush to get to the location that I'm going right now. So again, hurry mode will be the fastest that we'll go, and more than likely I'll just scale back once we get onto highway speeds. Highway speeds on standard, we can get a good 5 to 7 miles per hour over the posted speed limit. On hurry, anywhere from 10 miles, 10 to 12 miles, and Mad Max, there's no telling. I've gotten it over 15 to 20 miles consistently while I've been on the highway, so we're gonna avoid that wherever possible. Right now, it's indicating to us that our first charging spot will be 3 hours and 18 minutes away from us. That is in Waco, Texas. I do believe that is a Buc-ee's that will await us. That is always a great stop at Buc-ee's. But again, state of arrival, 14%. State of charge here, 97%. So that's really good. We'll also be diving into our energy app here, what we're currently consuming as we go along in this leg of the trip. Right now it's indicating that we consumed about 1%. I do have the seat warmers on. It's 58, not too cold. I'm gonna go ahead and turn them off. I got a good amount. And right now you'll notice that I do not have the AC front vents, but I will activate them momentarily. I have the vents hitting me on my feet, on my legs. So I'm gonna go ahead and on a day like today, I'm gonna go ahead and do 58 degrees, and it should only get cooler as we go along. 58, at least here in San Antonio, departure city, it will be 55 for the night. But if we scroll down, by the time that we get into, let's see here, in Waco, I thought it would actually give us the temperature. I'm not seeing it here that it's giving us the temperature dependent on when we arrive. That's odd. That's the first time I haven't noticed that. It's giving me a little prompt there. Gonna ignore that. We're going slow enough that it's not gonna matter. Well, not necessarily ignore, just look up for a few seconds and proceed to what I was doing. But that's odd. Collins Street Bakery, good site, not a Buc-ee's. Might need to modify that, edit that. But it's not giving us the temperature when we arrive. That's odd. I haven't seen that. I don't think that it is part of a new build, a new release. Right now we are on FSD 14.2.2.3, and if we are looking at our latest software, I do believe that we are on 2025.45.7. Having said that, I'm really wishing to get onto 2025.45.8 to get FSD 14.2. I'm actually on 14.2.2.2. I want to get 2025.4.8 so I can get FSD 14.2.2.3. But it's slowly rolling out, and I actually lost my early software access. I've been reading a few things from other users that they no longer have access to that. Looks like the good folks at Tesla quietly have done away with that. If you do have that feature, if you do have that option, please leave some comments, some notes. I know that I went a few days without renewing my subscription to FSD on a monthly basis, so that might have been an issue. And as everybody may know by now, and if you don't know by now, Mr. Musk, he ended up announcing, the good folks at Tesla announced that FSD will no longer be available outright purchase. That $8,000 amount for the lifetime of the product will no longer be available. They will be going strictly to a subscription-based model starting on, I believe, February the 14th, if I'm not mistaken. A good amount of folks are speculating. There's a lot of speculation on the interweb, right? But one of the items that's being speculated is that at this point in time, there may be a FSD unsupervised version that'll be out. Nice bump coming up here. Oh, actually they fixed it. Yay! There was a huge dip in the road, but it looks like they've taken care of that issue here. So yay! But nonetheless, a lot of folks are speculating that FSD will be offered in a supervised option and an unsupervised mode. It makes perfect sense on a business side to go ahead and remove the $8,000 lifetime. In a subscription-based model, folks are naturally going to forget to remove the subscription, right? And if the good folks at Tesla play their cards right, there is going to be consistent, steady revenue coming in from FSD. I believe that to be the case so long as there is a slight adjustment in FSD pricing. And by that, I mean, say for instance, in this perfect world, they announce a FSD unsupervised introduce FSD firmware that's currently in the robo-taxis. If they introduce that to the general population, offer that for $100 on a monthly basis, and that there could be a huge opportunity. I really hate this here, that particular section of the road. Um, it's they went ahead and opened up 2 lanes, right? One of the lanes they scraped poorly the pre-existing lines that were there that indicated there was only 1 lane. So FSD, the cameras, what it sees that there is a merge option from those 2 lanes to 1 lane, and every single time as of I feel version 14 early adoption, it removed the availability for the cameras to be able to detect that the and then here it's doing similar things as well. It's not seeing the items, and maybe it might have seen this Chevy Silverado that was coming into this lane here. I can't quite tell as to why it opted to move from the lane that it was in. It was a 2 lane road, and then moved off to the side. Maybe again the visibility issues with the concrete, the roads not being marked appropriately visibly. For the camera to discern, hey, this is 1 lane, that's another lane. So again, that's the same thing that happened about a mile before. And again, right now we're in hurry mode. I did some quick work of getting into the highway and passing up that Chevy Silverado when it was clearly going slow and clearly staying in that same lane. It didn't hesitate whatsoever. But back to the already have a lot of action going on at the beginning of the trip. But to what I was saying about FSD, the pricing models, right? Let's say, for instance, in a perfect world, they release FSD unsupervised, right? I think a appropriate price point would be $100 on a monthly basis, right? And if they play their cards right and allow FSD supervised to drop in price for a good $50, there could be a large revenue stream. I personally would go ahead and opt every singular month to have my vehicle, my wife's Model Y as well, subscribed. If you get that monthly price point down to $50 a month, I will gladly spend $100 every single month to have 2 vehicles subscribed to FSD supervised. Now, say for instance, we're taking a trip, we're going on a long leg, somewhere out of town, out of state, different things of that sort. I will spend $100 on that given month to up the subscription to FSD unsupervised. I will gladly do that. I feel that there is high interest for FSD supervised. I think you might get a lot of folks that would gladly adopt that option, who want to have that flexibility of working while we're traveling, right? Or working while we're commuting from point A to point B, commuting to the office, commuting back from the office. We want to be as productive as possible. And if there is an option to have that FSD unsupervised model available to us, there's going to be a lot of folks that are going to be interested in that, so long as the price point is on the mark. That's a huge thing. Price, right? In our day and age, price matters, right? So I feel that could be a reality. Another topic of interest in terms of FSD that could possibly come to fruition would be FSD pay as you go. I honestly think that it would be another viable option and I would highly consider this option if they broke it down besides a tier option, right? Supervised tier, unsupervised tier, pay as you go. If there is the possibility of paying for FSD on any given days that I wish, that would be, again, something that I would consider. So long as the price point is appropriate, that it isn't astronomical, as long as nobody's trying to price gouge um, for the availability of one day. I'll tell you what, if you charge me maybe $10, 10 maybe, now that I'm even saying it out loud, I'm kind of reconsidering anywhere from $5, $10 max to use FSD for one day. I would consider it. Most certainly $5 a day. I would have no issue with it. It would only be used in its current form, in its current iteration. I would only consider using FSD in that manner. If it's $5 a day, right? And if I were to be going on a road trip, I think that's something that's, affordable and viable for everyday consumers, right? The average individual, average driver who may not necessarily want to use FSD 100% of the time or have that option to use FSD 100% of the time. I could see a week, right? $5. 5 times 5, $25 for a trip if I'm going out of town. Add an extra $10 to that for a 7-day, trip. That's $35 that I would be willing to spend once every month, right? Or that I do travel, that I do decide to go on a trip per se. But yeah, those are a couple of different options, a couple of different things that are going on in the news today. As you can tell here, like I'm in this current version and this current FSD. And what do we say that it was? FSD, well, not FSD, the firmware update. We have software 2025.45.7. That was one of the items. As far as like the weather, right? What the weather is going to be like on arrival. I am going to look at the release notes just to see, because I definitely didn't see it, right? Arrival options, we got the FSD. The FSD didn't change much. Right now, you're noticing that I am going 78 miles an hour, and the speed limit is 65. I'm going to go ahead and scale it back. Going to standard. Hopefully, it'll get me out of this fast lane, and it'll shoot me back into the middle lane. 55 is the posted speed limit that it indicated now. I don't believe that to be true. There it goes back to 65. But nonetheless, just don't want to, I noticed myself going a little bit fast, and then as you can tell right here, we've got the good old police department pulling somebody over, going quite fast. Let's see who it catches, as long as it doesn't decide to take an exit, do a turnaround, and then come after me, because I was going quite fast. I was going about, 82 miles an hour in a 65 mile an hour zone. So let it not turn around. Let it not pursue me. 65, I don't know if you're noticing right here, it went from 65 to 55 to 65, and now we're back down to 55, and now back up to 65. I have no idea where it's picking up the speed limits. I'm not seeing or have not seen any speed limit signs in a hot moment. It's got to be the navigation data that it's pulling those speeds from. Otherwise, I have no clue where it's getting or where it's seeing those speed limit signs. I see on the access roads the straight 45 mile an hour speed zone, but that's honestly the first one that I had seen on the access road. There's a 65 mile an hour physical sign on the highway. But back to this, I'm trying to see if there's any updates in the release notes that would indicate the weather, right? Weather upon arrival. Not seeing anything here. This is all FSD related. arrival options. This is strictly pertaining to uh, the arrival options as far as where I'm going to be parking or where the car would like to park, right? Whether it's parking lot, street, driveway, curbside, that's not there. Speed profiles, right? The addition of Mad Max. I believe it talks about the addition of sloth mode as well. User interface, right? Rendering. That's a slight improvement, right? Using the Unreal Engine, I've seen a little bit of a difference, not too drastic of a difference, right? Just discernible. Brake confirm is listed on here. Again, this is another FSD update that comes along with each build. Gives you an introduction at the beginning, the latest FSD, and then just a general overview statement of FSD supervised. Grok navigation, commands. That's not what we're looking for. I do hope that Tesla photo booth was not traded out for the weather option, right? Weather on arrival, we'll call it. Dog mode live, that's an amazing option. Keep that any day, every day of the week. Dash cam vision updates, that's not it. Santa mode, that's not it. Light show update, that's not it. Paint shop. Navigation improvement. Wow. FSD got into that lane like a champ, not afraid at all to get out of its lane and get into another lane with a truck rather close behind. But here we are, we're going 72 miles an hour, keeping with the flow of traffic. It's already doing some interesting things. Whether or not I necessarily like what it is doing, that's a different story. I would have just stayed in that lane at standard and allowed the truck to pass by before proceeding into that lane. A bigger gap is what I would have waited for rather than a tight gap. Automatic HOV lanes. That was a little interesting because that Dodge Ram was carrying a Hyundai there in its flatbed. I thought whenever we were getting into the lane that that the Model Y was just going to decide to get in right after the truck passed, but it picked up on the flatbed carrying another vehicle. Phone left on wireless charger. Save chart limit. Some of the minor updates here. Wireless phone. Ability to enable or disable, right? The charging pad. Mobile alerts. Dog mode is active. Spotify, scroll through Spotify. Lock sounds. Allowing data sharing from service side. Nothing listed at all there. I'm just gonna go on and see where that last update was, see if I even have something far back enough that indicated that it was part of a release. Maybe that could have been a viable option that would have been traded away. Like the navigation improvements, right? Being able to pick up on recent favorites whenever you get into the vehicle and give that automatic option at the home screen rather than going into recents or favorites. That could have been traded away for weather on arrival. Cabin overheat. Now, those are the last updates that I have, or at least release notes from 2025.44. But nothing that indicates a change or removal for the weather on arrival. Let's see. We go into the settings. Use HOV lanes, yes. Online routing, trip planner. It says automatic navigation, route to homework or next calendar event upon entry, trip planner, supercharger stops if necessary, online routing, optimal route based on traffic conditions. Right now I have it saved to 1 minute. I'm gonna crank this sucker up to 15 minutes. Speed camera chime off, avoid tolls off, avoid ferries. That is off, avoid highways off, third-party charging. I'll try it again. Maybe it had data that it wasn't refreshed. Oh, it just tells me. It just tells me that I'm going to be getting to Waco at 7:30, and I'll be arriving with the state of charge of 14%. I should stay there for about 6 minutes before heading out to my final destination, my arrival site. I should say. I don't want to bring up anything kind of like ominous. Final destination, ominous. No, it does not give me the weather. San Antonio. That's odd. Let's see here. Hi, Ara.
Hi, Manuel. What's up?
You can call me Manny.
Got it, Manny. What can I help with?
Can you tell me if there was any updates to Tesla navigation, weather on arrival? I'm not seeing it here on the screen.
Yeah, Tesla added weather at destination in late 2024 updates, like 2024.44, showing expected arrival weather in the turn-by-turn list during nav. Needs premium connectivity and latest software. Check controls, software for updates, or tap the weather icon on the map while navigating to Athens. It might pop up there if no route shows it yet.
Okay, well, I'm not seeing it in my route planning. I have my route planning set to Waco, Texas as my next stop, but it doesn't give me any kind of weather information when I get there. Why is that?
It might be missing due to no premium connectivity, weak Wi-Fi or cell signal, or outdated software and maps. Check controls/upgrades for premium connectivity and software for updates. Expand the turn-by-turn list on your route to Athens and look under ETA. If still nothing, try toggling the weather overlay icon on the map.
Okay, so I'm going to the controls here, right? Looking at navigation. Not finding anything. I'm looking at...
Yep, Controls tab at the bottom, then Navigation section. Enable online routing if off, and check for weather icons. Weather details pop in the turn-by-turn list under ETA during nav, but premium connectivity is key for it to show.
Yeah, and I'm not finding it under the online... Like, I have online routing set up, but it doesn't indicate anything. Reroute to save 15 minutes. I'm paying attention. I'm not finding anything there. I'm looking at software. I'm gonna look at my data sharing. Allow Autopilot. Let me try one other thing. Accept all. Let me try. I don't know if it has. Yeah, I'm actually paired to my phone. I was thinking, and I do have the connectivity option, the premium connectivity. attention, at least attempting to. I don't have anything on my upgrades, and again, I do have the premium connectivity available. I don't have my app, my Tesla app, allowing me access to upgrades in car. Wi-Fi seems to be doing good. Software. Yeah, either way, I don't know what that could be. We'll go ahead and maybe check back later on that to see what the temperature is going to be like when we arrive. But point being, it's supposed to get colder and colder as we drive along. And again, there's no real availability over here on the weather app, because this weather app, it's only indicating for the city of San Antonio and not for the destination site, at least in this immediate moment. We'll check back again on it. Okay, we're going to be taking the tolls in a while, in about 33 miles. And then we'll be going around Austin. Want to avoid that Austin traffic. Pay attention. It's not that bad of a trip. We ended up taking off. Right now it is, 4:45? We ended up taking off 37 minutes ago. So, a little past 4 o'clock. Right about 4:05, 4:10, 4:08. Ended up taking off officially at 4:08. And we should be arriving. If I decide only to stay for 5 minutes in our first and only stop, at least for the routing here, 5 minutes. It'll be a 5-minute stop. And we should be arriving at 9:11. Again, 5-minute stop in Waco to get us to the appropriate state of charge, so we can arrive in our destination city with a 10% state of charge. And all of that is if I don't have to stop off earlier than 2 hours and 47 minutes into this first leg of the trip. What I'll also be doing as I go along, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the navigation data, or end the trip rather, and then from there I'll go ahead and restart it to see if there's anything that may have changed as far as ability to continue my trip past that initial charging stop. We'll see as we go along. And right now we're going to be checking into our energy app. We've consumed 11.1 percentage of the battery, down to 87%. And at least according to this here, it's saying that 11% has been attributed to driving. It says this route is typically driven at 77 miles per hour, slowed down by 5 miles an hour to save 7.2 for the rest of this trip. And I feel like we've been doing that. I don't feel like we've been at that 77 mile an hour mark. Again, we've been traveling 72 on the 60 to 65 speed limit. Right now we're going 67, so true to its form, on standard mode, it's going about 7 miles an hour over posted speed limits. 4.9 miles per hour, wind from the east, 1.2%, cost 1.2%. This trip, staying below 70 miles per hour, would have saved 0.4 this trip. And that's odd, right? It's saying that if we reduce our speed by 5 miles an hour, I guess it's noting how fast we're going, and not necessarily the typical drive. Typical drive 77 miles an hour. I guess it's countering or taking into account the fact that we are going, or have been going, 72 miles an hour, wishing for us to reduce our speed by 5 miles an hour, only goes 72 miles an hour, and that in itself would have saved us 7.1%. But then for this last bullet, it's saying staying below 70 miles would have saved 0.4 miles per hour, I guess, right? If we would have done that consistently, it would have saved us 0.4. But for the remainder of the trip, it could possibly save us 7.1% if we just slow down by 5 miles an hour on the average speed of 72 that we were going. I'm gonna let it do its thing on standard. Consumption, projected range, and again, projected range based on how I've been driving around, right, for the last few days, few weeks, whatever data, based on the last 200 miles an hour, 200 miles driving. Our expected projected range would be 264. Over here, it's indicating 86 miles an hour, 237 miles. So in fact, we would be more efficient based on, again, the last 200 miles an hour. Based on the last 10 miles an hour, it's going to keep us at 235. It went up from 231 based on the last 100 miles. Oh my word, that is a bit odd. It decided to go ahead and switch lanes. The last moment there was a vehicle behind us that was traveling rather fast on the slow lane and still decided to get into the lane. That vehicle was pretty pissed off, ended up going around us and passed us up. I would have probably done the same thing. We were able to get in the lane safely, but definitely felt that we were cutting it close, right? It went with it. It went with whatever decision it had come to. I guess you can say it's, any kind of brake stabbing, any kind of hesitation. It was decisive, and that's what generally we want in FSD. But again, just a little weary about this 14.2.2.2 FSD release. I'm, again, wishing, hoping, praying a little bit of everything, right, to get the 0.3 FSD release built here soon. But anywho, those are our 10, 100, and last 200 miles an hour. Hopefully we are able to get to 262. And then here, nice and toasty, nice and warm. Anywho. I was thinking about mounting the cameras on top of the car, but opted not to, especially the distance that we were going. And maybe thinking for a moment that the weather may have impacted. Looking back on it, in the 60s, I don't think the 60s would have impacted anything. Getting closer to our destination, if it's, in the 40s, maybe high 30s, maybe that could have impacted with the suction. So that's why I didn't bring that mount. I don't know if anyone noticed earlier on in this drive, there was a work truck similar to that F-250, F-350 actually, I think, that we passed by. It was like a work truck in that regard with the camper painted in white. And those work trucks, right, whether they're for the utility company or whether they're private work trucks, there was a work truck coming at the opposite direction, not on the highway, before we got on the highway, I believe, and it was coming the opposite direction. It had lights on in a similar fashion as a ambulance would have its lights flashing, right? That's basically what I'm saying. Its lights were flashing, and the FSD mistook that or got confused and hesitated, thinking that it was a first responder. Possibly an ambulance is the only thing that I can think of, right? Because again, an ambulance is an F-250, F-350 with, modified bed. But nonetheless, FSD got confused. It was trying to pull off to its side. Didn't quite stop, which was a good call. I was hoping it wouldn't pull over. I've seen it where FSD has gone off to, like, the next lane, to the right lane, or if there's an available shoulder, gone off to the shoulder and parked itself with its hazards on. It didn't go to that extent, maybe because of the hesitation and the confusion. I'm mistaking it for a first responder, but I thought that was a little interesting. I guess the sensitivity, it's heightened. That might be something that I hope gets addressed on the point 3 release build, but there's no way of finding out until we have that new firmware, new version update, and actually have an opportunity to put it to the test. I don't think just any work truck is gonna have its lights flashing, is what I'm kind of saying. So it's going to be one of those things like, can it clearly discern the difference between an ambulance, its lights, and just another F-350 work truck that has lights, and for whatever odd reason manages to have those lights on, but clearly not a first responder. Maybe that's also part of the sentience package that's going to be upcoming. Because I mean, it takes a human being, or it takes that level of sentience, that awareness, right, to be able to discern the difference. Not too bad, 77. It's at 60. Again, I doubt that it's 60 miles an hour. I might have picked up a construction zone speed limit, but I think at this stretch of the highway, I think we're at 75, if I'm not too off base, because we're clearly going 16 miles. If it is 60 miles an hour, we're clearly going 16 miles over the speed limit, and maybe because we're keeping up with traffic, the flow of traffic here. But my curiosity is whether or not the navigation data and the navigation speed limit may be different. You'll notice that we're just passing a 60 mile an hour speed limit, but the speed limit, and it picked it up, but above it, it was an indication of a construction zone. But back to what I was saying, I wonder if navigation speed limit data conflicts with real world data. Sometimes these things aren't going to be spot on. They're not going to be live and up to date. There could be random construction from one day to another, and a de facto modified speed limit sign posted for the general people, right? And the navigation data won't have that ability to update unless the fleet is somehow collecting all of this data through the neural network, opting to share with, back on the cloud, and then from there with the rest of the users. I could see that, but how quickly that process could potentially play out, I doubt it's even remotely instantaneous upon that first vehicle approaching that modified speed zone. We have a constable here that ended up passing us up, so we're going in a chill mode. And again, I don't know what the speed limit is here. I'm going standard, but again, I don't know what the modified speed limit here is. Up against a sign here, speed limit sign, construction speed limit. Oh, that's not it. That says Texas 123 exit, not 123 miles an hour. And please don't be confused with that being a speed limit sign. Do not want to be traveling down these highways at 123 miles an hour. Partially completed highway. At about 3.8 miles, we'll be going towards the toll road, and that, if I'm not mistaken, it's about 85 mile an hour speed limit. I wonder if we ended up picking up that Dodge Ram again. One that exited the highway. Seems to be a Dodge Ram that came onto the highway. Don't know if that's the particular one that went out. We decided, hey, I'm going to take a shortcut. What shortcut? We're still ahead of you. Well, certainly not. There's no way that that could be the same vehicle. Got a speed check coming up. There's the sheriff. Stop Shop gift card. Bucky's 19 miles away if we were to be staying on this stretch of the road. Because in 17 miles, we have a Luling Bucky's, which is actually the biggest Bucky's in the state of Texas. I'm trying to recall whether or not that Bucky's is the biggest Bucky's in Texas. Why it is opting to get out of the slow lane with about 0.8 miles to go. It's beyond me. I would have stayed in that lane. No, this is kind of idiotic. Let's see if it manages to. This is idiotic. It's right here. Like safety. It should have thought about safety. The only thing that it had going for the vehicle was the fact that the big rig ended up moving over to the right lane to get onto this highway. Otherwise, we would have missed it. If it was going the same speed limit, we would have most certainly missed it. But I guess because of the fact that the speed limit will be increasing, maybe it decided to we decided to go a bit faster. FSD decided to go faster, just based on the sheer fact that that big rig was changing lanes. It dropped off in speed. Here's a toll road. Let's see when we hit a speed limit sign. Should be soon. See a lot of lovely cows, and here we are. The speed limit is 85 miles an hour. Let's see whether or not FSD, the navigation, the cameras detect. And the odd thing is that it detected a change. It detected a change, but it detected a change going 65 miles an hour rather than 85 miles an hour. That I don't get. That is idiotic. And especially on a highway like this. Now, so now I'm going to kick it up a notch. I'm going to go in a hurry mode. And here's another speed limit. Let's see, 85. It is clearly 85. Will it pick up the new posted speed limit? It still says 65. That is beyond me. Does that 6? Does that 8 look like a 6 to the cameras? It appears as if though it does. The only reason why we're going 80 miles an hour is because I have the profile set to hurry mode, which is giving us an additional 15 miles an hour over the supposed 65 mile an hour that it registered. I'm not going to take it up to Mad Max to make up that 5 mile an hour difference. It's not worth it. was so close to disengaging there. It was just borderline unsafe getting into that quote-unquote slower lane on an 85 mile an hour speed zone. Well, we were going 65 or slowing down to a little over 65 with the vehicle directly behind us once we got in the lane picking up speed. And rightfully it got out of the lane and passed us the hell up. Probably an angry manner. There we are. It finally registered at that 85 mile an hour speed limit. And honestly, that's just a little too late for my liking. That's about 2 to 3 miles. Realistically, 2 miles too late to be picking it up. It should have picked it up instantaneously. Maybe the navigation data updated the speed limit on these toll roads. That's really unacceptable. I'm going to put it back to standard now that it's recognizing the appropriate speed limit. We're a good 5 miles into getting onto the toll road. We're now picking up speed, getting up to 84 miles an hour. FSD won't, or shouldn't go drastically higher than that 85 mile an hour. I doubt it even gets close to 85 miles. I like beyond this point. I don't think it'll hit it. I don't think it'll hit 85. And I most certainly don't think it's going to go 90 miles an hour, 92 miles an hour. That would just be against. There's that 85 that it hit. Just the natural momentum on the road. I doubt that it hits 90 miles an hour if we're in standard mode, right? A good 5 to 7. I doubt if I were to put it into hurry mode. And here's another odd thing. It noticed the speed limit, and I distinctly recall that it did that on prior occasions being on the toll road. The exit speed limit is 65 miles an hour, so guess what FSD did? It ended up picking up an exit speed limit as opposed to the posted speed limit here on this toll road of 85 miles an hour. So right now I'm going from standard, or let's see, there's another speed limit sign here. Let's see whether or not it picks it up, and if it does, how quickly it'll pick up before I decide to change my profiles, my speed profiles here. Again, 85 miles an hour. I can clearly see 85. It did not immediately pick up the speed limit. I'm going to allow it a minute or so before I up the speed profile from standard to hurry. It helped last time. At least keep us to a closer posted speed limit than the recognized one here. Trying to give it as much time as I can. No traffic behind us. Just this big rig in front of us, and if we can for a minute, we can draft behind it. Just at the distance, I'm noticing that there's vehicles approaching. We've already been going 72 miles an hour for a minute or two. So now, again, here we go. It picked up the posted 85 mile an hour speed limit a minute or two after we passed the speed limit sign. I'm gonna wait till it gradually increases the speed as it should. And I'm gonna keep a close eye on the next exit. If there's even a remote possibility that 65 miles an hour signs are around it and it picks up that speed limit, and if we have vehicles directly behind us, thank God that we have not had vehicles directly behind us. That's just stopping abruptly. "78 miles an hour. See some traffic approach us from behind. And I see the speed right now going 78 is fine, just because, I mean, based on the traffic, the non-existing traffic around us, it doesn't have anything to compare to have us go at a higher speed. But as we have more and more traffic approach us, I feel like it's going to want to increase in speed. We have a vehicle about 2 car lengths behind us. We're going 80. We dropped from 81. I don't see a big problem going 80, going 5 miles under the posted speed limit. This Range Rover, again, 2 car lengths behind, not catching up for now. Increased to 82. Now we have a vehicle off to the side of the road. Let's see whether or not it goes into the left lane, and sure enough it does. It usually does this and has done this consistently on prior release. What is this vehicle doing? It looks like there's some plastic off to the side, doing what it ought to do, what the Range Rover behind us most certainly didn't do. Go off to the next lane to avoid any potential pitfalls. Oh, here we go. 50 miles an hour sign. 50 miles. 50 miles. There's no other speed limit signs. Did a good job there of completely disregarding that exit speed limit. Glad that it did. Now, one thing that you'll notice when we have an exit and the not too distant road up here, we'll have an on-ramp, which means that we'll have a new speed limit sign. And of course, the speed limit sign doesn't change, right? On this stretch of the highway, as long as we're on this highway, on this toll road, it's going to be 85 miles an hour. But because of the fact that we're presented right here with an 85 mile an hour speed zone sign, yep, it thought it was 65 miles an hour, and it opted to pick up its speed, so I am taking it to hurry. The good thing that I have going for me, I'm not disengaging. I am moving up my speed profile from standard to hurry. And also the second good thing that I have going for me is that I have a big rig directly in front of me that wasn't going incredibly fast, wasn't going that 85 miles an hour. I believe it was going 75, 80, pushing it, but it's getting into another lane, and it shouldn't be getting into that lane. So now we're going 15 miles an hour over the supposed speed limit. We're trying to pass up this big rig and do it safely without any kind of disengagements. And then here's another exit speed limit sign of 65 miles an hour. for whatever reason, after a couple of minutes of passing up the 85 mile an hour speed limit on-ramp sign, I decided to pick it up. We're going in hurry, going 82, and again, with an exit, mile or two down the road comes an on-ramp. And again, same thing, that I'm going to be vigilant about whether or not the correctly posted speed limit of 85 miles an hour, whether the camera detects it incorrectly to be 65 miles an hour. I can see it right now, 85 miles an hour, clear as daylight. Let's see what FSD decides to do. Drops it down to 65 miles an hour. I'm keeping that hurry speed profile, hoping that it continues to stay 15 miles over that 65 zone, that faux zone, and especially with the flow of traffic, noticing that it can't drop too drastically. And again, we didn't have anybody directly behind us, so nothing as far as like safety concerns there. But on a normal day, on a busy day, on a day where you have bumper-to-bumper traffic possibly, I mean, it's rarely the case that you have that on the toll roads. You pay a premium, right, to go these astronomically high speed limits. But from time to time, we do get traffic here, right? And you could potentially have somebody directly behind you. You're essentially brake checking somebody from maybe going 80, 85 miles an hour all the way down to 65. That's a drastic instant reduction. FSD will do that regardless. It'll obey the supposed, rules of the road here. And why it's doing that is beyond me. Another interesting fact, this stretch of the highway, it's going to lead us right into the Austin, Texas Tesla factory. So, of all places, you would think this would be a non-issue, right? Following speed limit signs, it would be right in his homeland, right in its neck of the woods, right, where a lot of the testing goes on. I mean, these are one of the areas, right? You got to collect data, you got to collect info from. Why it's doing that, that's beyond me. But that's something that needs to be looked at. We don't have enough vehicle data from this stretch of the road. Again, hard pressed to believe that. Very, very hard pressed to believe that, being that we are so incredibly close to a Tesla auto factory, right? Anyhow, we'll keep an eye out. Another exit coming up. But so far we have driven an hour and a half, an hour and 24 minutes, 84 miles, no disengagements, about 83.7. No disengagements. And if there's going to be a disengagement, it's going to be a disengagement of my choosing. I'm going to actively decide, you know what, I'm going to, and it will have nothing to do, if I'm being really honest, it will have nothing to do based on safety aspect. It'll be me deciding I'm going to take over for this stretch. Right there again, 85 miles an hour. Thinking that it's 65 miles an hour, but luckily I have the speed profile to hurry, so it's staying with the flow of traffic. And it's 5:33. Let's see how much time passes by before it realizes that 65 is the incorrect speed limit here. The last couple of instances, I've been eyeballing it, and I feel like 2 minutes on the dot, right? It picks up the appropriate speed limit. So again, 5:33. See when we actually see it on the screen, showing from 65 to 85. It looks like we're going to have another sign coming up. Whether it opts to pick up the correct speed limit here, yet to be seen. 85. Not immediate. A minute has passed by. No update. Nobody behind us. So far so good as far as safety goes. An exit speed zone of 65. It's 2 minutes. 5:33, 5:35, exactly 2 minutes. No difference. 85-mile-an-hour sign. Going 80. Recognized speed of 65. Here's another exit, 65. That's concerning. We're safe. For now, we're safe because of the slight interventions, workarounds, different dynamic, different speed profile that I've selected to go at a higher speed limit. Here's another interesting thing, right? Like right now, the data within the computer screen here, right? The computer, the chip, the local hardware, it's indicating 65 miles an hour, unless somehow it's taking data from navigation, right, and has incorrect info on the toll roads. But let's say, for instance, it's using that telemetry info, right, from here. I also have one of those little chips, little drive and save beacons from State Farm. I really hope that it doesn't recognize speed limits incorrectly based off of any kind of data. I highly, highly doubt that. Again, telemetry data has got to take into account other items outside of like onboard local hardware, software, right? It's got to take known navigation info, maybe from Google Maps, different things of that sort, right? Different services outside of the good folks at Tesla. And I'd like to believe that Tesla was using Google Map info for navigation purposes, but whether that's the case or not, that's a different story, right? Or whether or not some of the items on the software side for FSD the programming has been impacted or has made an impact on the navigation side, because that's all sorts of wonky nowadays and not working as folks have been accustomed to. So that's a major complaint. Hopefully a 0.3 release remotely addresses anything of that sort. Feeling a little cold here. I'm gonna crank it up to 69. I'll tell you what, like my seat, like my bottom feels good, even though I don't have the heat warmer, the seat warmers, but heat warmer, okay. But I'm still feeling a little chilly inside the car. Feel like we're being rather efficient. What you have noticed here at the first stop, at our Waco stop, instead of a 13-mile state of charge arrival, we have a 10% state of charge arrival. Dropped off by 3%. Saying we have about 161 miles of range based on the last 100 miles. 173 based on the last 200 miles. Gave me a prompt to pay attention. 161 seems a little more representative. 141 based on the last 10 miles. Makes sense going that we're traveling at a faster speed limit or have been traveling at a faster speed limit for the last 10 miles. And again, FSD isn't afraid to go onto the fast lane. But you'll notice that we have somebody behind us, well, a vehicle directly in front of us, right, going a little bit slower than the posted speed limit. And what folks aren't seeing is that we have a vehicle directly behind us approaching really close, getting frustrated at the fact that we're not going the posted speed limit, or that it's taking us a little bit longer. Let's see if it decides to pass up this vehicle without any complaints, without any issues. The vehicle behind us kind of getting frustrated, trying to pass us up. I'll give him a nice wave. Goodbye, Buick. Goodbye. Now it picks up the actual speed limit of 85 miles an hour. Why? I have no idea. Maybe we did pass another speed limit sign and it actually worked. Being that we might be getting closer to the Tesla factory. Who knows? Perplexing. Should be consistent. I'm really hoping that it doesn't drop us to 65. Here's another 85 mile an hour. And it dropped us to 65. That is freaking frustrating. Let's ask Rock. Hey, Ara.
Hey, Manuel, what's up?
You can call me Manny.
Sure thing, Maddie. What's on your mind?
I have a problem. I'm on a toll road. The posted speed limit is 85 miles an hour, yet my Model Y is thinking that it's 65 miles an hour. The screen indicates a speed limit of 65 in error.
That's common on your Model Y. The speed limit display uses cameras and maps, which can lag or pick up outdated data or nearby roads, especially on toll roads like around Lockhart, Texas. Go to Controls, then Autopilot, and switch Speed Limit Warning to Absolute to manually set it to 85 miles per hour.
Okay, Autopilot.
To engage Autopilot on your Model Y, push the drive stalk down once for traffic-aware cruise control, or twice quickly for auto steer. Keep your hands on the wheel and stay alert. Customize settings first at Controls, then Autopilot.
Limit absolute of 85 miles an hour. Okay.
Got it. For speed limit warning, go to Controls, Autopilot, set it to Absolute, and enter 85 miles per hour. That overrides the detected limit. Always drive safely and watch the road.
Okay, so Ara, I ended up selecting Autopilot, then I went to speed limit, I selected Absolute, and then I put the limit to 85 miles an hour. But why is my navigation data, why is my screen still listing 65 miles an hour?
The screen icon always shows the detected speed limit from cameras and maps. That's just informational and won't trigger warnings, now that Absolute is set to 85. Warnings in Autopilot behavior use your absolute limit instead, so you're good as long as you drive safely.
Or say for instance, I have my Autopilot absolute limit set to 85 miles an hour, but the posted speed limit is 45 miles an hour. Will I still travel 85 miles an hour on FSD?
No. Full self-driving supervised drives based on detected speed limits, traffic, road conditions, and your chosen speed profile. It won't go 85 on a 45 zone. The absolute setting mainly affects speed assist warnings, not FSD's target speed. So always stay attentive and intervene if needed.
Okay. So we'll try it there, right? We selected absolute to 87 miles an hour is what I listed. Now let's see if we run into any of this, similar issues again. I think it'll still happen. I'm almost positive it'll still happen. I don't see how the absolute option, right, would affect that flaw from reoccurring again. But right here we have 85 miles an hour, traveling 85 and 85 mile an hour speed limit sign, right? Okay, yep, it did it again. Dropped it down to 65 miles an hour. We're still traveling 80 miles an hour, but that has more to do with the speed profile rather than the posted speed limit, perceived posted speed limit of 65 rather than 85. Not happy with that. Still no disengagement. So I guess FSD has an issue reading an 8, thinking an 8 is a 6, at least in the state of Texas. Thinking it would have gone from an 80 to a 60 mile an hour speed limit rather than 85. Now we're going 5 miles over the speed limit on hurry. And you notice that at this given time our sun is setting or has set on this cloudy day. Kind of difficult to tell, but we are fastly approaching the night. Let me go ahead and go back to standard mode. Oh my god, just move over. 80 miles an hour here. Let's see if it drops us down to 60. And thank the good Lord it did not. Maybe it only has issues again. 85 miles an hour signs as opposed to 80 miles an hour. Who knows why it's mistaking it for 65 as opposed to 85. Right now you'll notice that the posted speed limit has gone down to 60 miles an hour for whatever unknown reason. It shouldn't be 60 miles an hour, but it's listing 60. We're going 78. We're going a little too slow for my liking, especially again given the fact that we're on a toll road with a minimum speed limit of 65. And then when we have this vehicle that's like passing us by, this little Volkswagen Jetta, who got frustrated, I guess understandably, because we weren't going sufficiently fast enough for him. Doesn't matter. Going the speed limit. Now again back to 80. There we go. We got the big rig getting in front of the Lightning McQueen Jetta. It's an impressive building, impressive structure. I don't believe I've ever seen it at night. This is as close to at night as I'm gonna get. Good old sheriffs and police officers. And make no mistake, we're not trying to be speed demons here. We're just trying to get to a specific location by a reasonable time. Nothing else. I'm gonna go ahead and pause it for a bit and then pick up a little later on.